Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, joining us for our Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. All right, Doctor, so let's go into some of these questions. Believe it or not, we're a little UK-based here on our questions for whatever reason, but let's...
UK, I'm huge over there.
We are global. You're right, you're the big shot over there, no doubt about it. This one is coming, I hope I'm saying his name right, but I think it's Qon Brown, or it's either Qon or Cuon or something like that. But let's go with Qon Brown, because it sounds... Quan?
Qon.
All right. Well, I mean, couldn't be a better name, right? Yeah, absolutely. Qon Brown. So it says, over the last few years, many teams are starting to hit 180 on their servings, i.e. the perfect score. Is there really a perfect barbecue dish? Having competed myself as well as tasted the competition barbecue in the States and now in the UK, it's not something that you would normally serve your family and friends. Guys are packing so much flavor into the food, more than a couple of pieces, and it's almost inedible on the palate. Is it something that the doctor agrees with, and does he think there is space in the competition world where the teams don't use forced draft systems, don't use phosphates or injections, all in the same cut of meat, or even the same supplier, kind of leveling the playing field, so to speak? So I guess it's two different questions within there. So let's take the first one first. Is there really a perfect barbecue dish?
Well, first let me get on my soapbox about the 180 thing. Yep. We went through this once before. I once got a 5th place 180 at Tryon in Brisket, and it was just really, it's really what broke my spirit about that whole thing. It's fun to get those 180 pins, but at some point they're meaningless, and coming in 5th with a perfect score was a little bit disappointing, because you keep bringing the 6th judge back in, and then you end up with coin flips deciding big money contests. And I think it's a mistake. I'll switch over to is there such thing as a perfect rib? Well, if we were to really get serious about the criteria of perfect barbecue and say that a rib should, okay, we talk a little bit about the rib biting away from the bone, but if we would talk about it should have the perfect mahogany color, and it should have a light glaze of sauce, and it should have a little bit of a smoke ring, and we should see little pellets of liquid as we bite into it, and whatever, be real specific about the perfect rib, like some criteria in competition is. You go dog show judging, and there's a perfect schnauzer. Like it or not, if yours isn't like that, it's not going to win. And maybe someday we'll have that kind of criteria. I don't know that I'm necessarily a fan of that, but if we did, then there could be a perfect rib. With the loose arrangement for judging now, I don't know. I think it's a mistake because it really hurts the tie breaking. I know I kind of wandered around there with that answer, but is there such a thing as a perfect rib? Yeah, I guess there is. But there's not one twice a week in every contest in the country, and I think we're headed that way.
All right, the second part of that question was, do you think there is space in competition where teams don't use, a lot of the modern conveniences, let's say, probably like when you first started competing, and like you, Fast Eddie, Dirty Dick, all those guys, no forced draft systems, not injecting, all using, similar cuts of meat, not going to the specialty or the artisan suppliers to kind of level that playing field. And kind of, to his point, maybe we've kind of seen a very small reemergence of that in some of those, back to the basic competitions that we saw towards the end of last year.
Well, yeah, it's a nice thing to talk about. However, I don't know that we're headed back that way in the mainstream barbecue competition.
No way.
Was it a mistake to let it get this far? Maybe it was. I remember watching guys with Jeeps on the ESPN one day, and they were going over these big mounds of giant boulders, and I saw the guy, he had a spotter showing him where to turn it, talking to him where to turn his wheel, and I thought, well, doesn't seem fair. He should have to drive it. And then the spotter pulled out a rope and hooked it on his bumper and was yanking on it to help him from falling over, and I was like, well, that's just wrong. But in their world, that seemed normal. And I'm sure little by little it evolved to that. When I watch a dog show and I see the guy holding up the dog's tail, that just seems like bullshit to me. If the dog's tail doesn't want to be up, it shouldn't be up. But I think that's the nature of hobbies. It evolves over the course of time, and this is what guys want to do. Should we have put rules in along the way to maybe limit some of this stuff? Oh, maybe. Let me tell you about the first forced air draft I ever saw. It was a guy named Buddy Rogers. Not Rogers, what was his name? Buddy and me, Richardson from Tennessee, Chattanooga or somewhere over there. Buddy was a Memphis and May cook, but Buddy was a tinker. He was a pilot and he made stuff. Him and Cliff Weddington of Oink Cackle and Moo passed away this last year. Old-time barbecue guys. These guys were taking the little fans out of computers and putting it down in the bottom of they had these fire rings down at the bottom, kind of like the Jed Masters, and they took the little computer fan out, and they bought the little $35 Robert Shaw thermostat, and they made the first forced air draft things I ever seen. Matter of fact, Mr. Cliff, I think, had a blow dryer. And he had the Robert Shaw thermostat and the blow dryer, and it would blow on his fire. Well, nobody thought at that point, hey, we better outlaw this. We all looked at it and said, wow, that's pretty cool that they tinkered with that and built that in their yard. Well, now it's become mainstream and everybody uses them. I can tell you that when I was first starting, the critical thing to learn how to do to cook good barbecue was keep your temperature steady all the time. And it wasn't easy with the pits we had. Now, everybody does it. There's no such thing as, if your temperature is all up and down, you don't even have a chance because everybody else there is right on temp. The phosphates and all that stuff, I don't know. I've been an evil prick using a bunch of that stuff and taught a whole bunch of people how to use it back in the day. So it's hard to be against it now. Darren Worth actually busted me one day. I was bitching about the money muscle thing. And Darren said, well, hell, you're the guy that taught me how to do it. We didn't do it quite as extremely as we did now. I used to butterfly them, and you would get a few muscles down there at the end. But Darren, kind of bitch slapped me and said, you're the guy that taught me how to do it. Now you're against it. So I have a hard time speaking out against it. Oh, do I wish it didn't go quite as far as it has? Yeah, I guess I do. But as far as, okay, we've got about 1,000 barbecue contests where pellet cookers and injections and stuff are legal, and we've got 2 or 3 where it isn't. I don't see that swinging too far anytime soon.
Yeah, me neither. Dr. Barbecue, Ray Lampe, joining me here on the show. If at a future show you want to submit a question to us, you can go to askdrbbq.com. That's askdrbbq.com. You'll be redirected to the show page. And you can either email me or you can email Ray. You can leave it right there on the post, and we'll mix it into a future show, which brings us to our next question here, Ray, from John Pierce, a fellow alcoholic of mine from England, by the way. John taught me the joys of a caipirinha. Have you ever had a caipirinha, Ray?
I don't believe so, no.
Oh, it is a very delicious drink, absolutely. So he wants to know, first and foremost, and as somebody like yourself who has kind of seen the evolution of UK barbecue, how do you see it right now? Is it something that, reminds you of a Western United States 10, 15 years ago? Is it maybe a little bit more advanced than that at this point? How do you see the UK barbecue scene right now?
It's really interesting to see because, yes, I see it very much over the last few years the same, except it's moving so much faster. It took us 20 years to get to all of this. These guys already are starting to bring, I just saw a spice wine cooker arrived in England the other day, the first one. This stuff didn't exist when I started. So the evolution took 20 years that I saw. These guys, it's taken about 3, and they are up to speed on everything. I did a class there, did the first ever barbecue cooking class in England a year and a half ago, and I showed them all of this stuff, and so they were all kind of aware of it, the phosphates and of course Blues Hog and the things that we were using over here, and the ridiculous chicken poaching thing, but they'd all heard about that already because of the internet, of course. You got to remember 20 years ago, we also didn't have the internet.
Yeah, correct.
So I had to actually drive to Kansas City and see Fast Eddie to talk barbecue with him. I guess I could call him, but it wasn't like the internet now where everybody has so much access to everything. So I do see it developing much like it did here. I also see, a few different factions and some bitch fighting going on, but that's the nature of it. It's always going to be, there's a lot of good folks over there, and they all have good intentions. They're all really trying to get it going. I think it's got a real bright future, and I'm happy to get over there as often as I can. I think it's just different because it's a different time and the way they can speed it up. I'm a little disappointed though, because you got to remember we all, a lot of the guys, my contemporaries, we really learned how to cook barbecue the old school way.
Yeah.
Before we bastardized it with all that stuff. I worry that a lot of these guys are cutting right to the chase. There's some guys over there been cooking barbecue for a long time. Andy Annet's an old friend of mine. Andy's been cooking barbecue for a long time and knows how to cook real barbecue. And not that a whole bunch of those guys don't, but they're cutting right to the chase. They're starting out with much like a lot of the new wave of competitors here are. Yeah. They don't have to learn how to cook barbecue on an open fire and on a drum or any of that stuff. They buy stuff with a high-tech pit. They get them some phosphates. They get them some Blues Hog, and they're in the game right away. And that's what's happening over there. Now, how it'll evolve, I don't know, because the truth is the food over there, they don't like things as sweet as we do. So I don't know that Blues Hog is a really good idea over there. But, I mean, I don't know what's really winning yet. I think, though, it'll find its way, though. There's no doubt. I think we'll see competitors creating products over there that do fit their palate and that do win. I think it's got a long way to go, but they're having a lot of fun, and I'm happy to be part of it. I think it's great. I love seeing it.
Second part of John's question is, most of the beef sold in the UK is generally dry aged, and from what he's seen on U.S. TV shows regarding barbecue, he's noticed that the meat has been wet aged. Injections are not readily available in the UK apart from injecting. How can you keep a dry-aged brisket moist after a long smoke?
Oh, gosh.
Foil. Duh.
Well, yeah, foil. I mean, that's the easy answer. But the briskets I've seen in the UK, it's just a different shape as well.
Wow.
It's a very different looking piece of meat. It's much bigger and flatter and thinner, and it's hard to find one with the fat cap on. I know they're developing sources there. A lot of the guys are, and it's evolving real fast. Same thing, like I was saying, it's evolving fast. But the dry aging thing, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a dry aged brisket over here. I don't know where you would get one. I know guys have tried to do it themselves. The reason is most of our beef comes in boxes from the gigantic plants, and theirs doesn't. So, except for the stuff they get from here, frankly. So, oh gosh, I don't know. The cooking method, it's very different. There's some guys over there. John Hargate is another old school barbecue guy over there, John, and he talks about it a lot, that cooking briskets in the UK is very different than cooking the briskets that we get here. It's very different. I don't know. I don't know what to do with them things over there. Yeah, I do exactly what you said. When I had a deal, Creekstone Farms shipped over 30 briskets for that class I was doing last year, and they had to go through Monaco, and they showed up at the place where I was doing the class, and I saw a picture of the refrigerator with all the meat in there. I was great. I get there, and they screwed up, and the briskets were still in Monaco, and they shipped 30 eye of rounds, which were useless to us. We cooked up.
You can make a lot of jerky with 30 eye of rounds, right?
For lunch, but they were useless to us. So we scrambled and got some British briskets. Huh?
I said
we scrambled and got some English briskets, and they were just thin and dry. And what I did was we smoked them for a little while and wrapped them right away, and put a good hit of beef broth in there with them. Dr.
Barbecue Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. drbbq.com, his website. If you have a question for him, askdrbbq.com. That's askdrbbq.com. Last one before I let you go here, Ray. This one is an email coming in from Owen Lilly. Please share the secret of your famous garlic baked beans. I'm guessing maybe there's garlic. I don't know. Owen, maybe I'm reaching on this one, but, what can I tell you?
That question comes from Owen's evil bastard brother, Chris.
Really?
Yeah, we were in Seattle one day a long time ago. Me and Chris have done a lot of fun stuff together, and we were out there with Rick Nog. Gosh, this goes back. You got
wait, Ray, let me interrupt just for you a second. Are you saying that Chris Lilly sent that question in?
Well, I'm saying he's an evil bastard.
All right.
And he probably had something to do with it, yes.
All right. Well, shout out to Chris Lilly if you're listening on a Wednesday show. Holla.
Owen's brother. I don't know if you know that. Owen's Chris's brother.
Go ahead.
And So me and Chris were out in Seattle. We're doing so we did a barbecue class at Rick Nogg's house, and we partied there for a few days. Ed Royth was there, and Carolyn Wells, and then we did a cooking school, and then we cooked in the contest. And we did the cooking school one day, we cooked in the contest the next day, and won 3 out of the 4 categories, cooking together, me and Chris and Jim Minion. But in the interim, we had to go on the NPR station in Seattle and talk about.
Is that Chris Lilly calling in right now?
No, actually, it's Chris Capel.
Dizzy Pig.
I'll see him this weekend at Eggtoberfest. Anyway, we're going on the NPR station, and Rick Nogg's wife makes this food for us to take to the station. And we get there, and we've got some pulled pork that looks good, and we've got some baked beans that have, like, a ridiculous amount of dehydrated garlic in there. It just looks horrible. It looks like sesame seeds in it or something. It just looked nasty. And we're in the lobby looking at the food. Chris and I were like, oh my God, they're going to eat this and think we made this, because you wouldn't put a shitload of garlic in your beans anyway. But it was like, so we get in the NPR studio and we're talking, and it's very funny because the guy talks like an NPR guy. And Chris doesn't want any credit for these beans. So he immediately early on says, Ray, why don't you give them your recipe of those special garlic beans? He completely screws me. And I had to claim the beans, which sucked. So that's the story.
Now,
Thanks, Owen.
you know, I don't think anybody realizes the best part of that story is the fact that it's you, it's Chris Lilly, and it's Jim Minion. If people have any idea of the history and the evolution of barbecue, I mean, literally 3 of the biggest names ever in the land. And I think, you know, while you and Chris have seen a lot of TV time and have been able to kind of raise up to the next level, you know, Jim is kind of, I don't know if he shied away from the limelight or he just kind of hasn't made it. But, you know, if you've ever heard of this thing called the Minion method, which is literally the most popular way of firing any wood or charcoal fire cooker, I mean, that's the guy that actually came down with it. He's a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah, Jim's a really good barbecue cook and a good friend of mine. Yeah, Jim had kind of put the whole deal together for us. It was a good friend at the time. We didn't even let him cook anything, though, because Chris and I each cooked 2 categories. Jim was like our runner. I mean, you're right. Jim's been, you know, a very accomplished barbecue cook. And, yes, did invent the Minion method, and we don't see him much. I talk to him once in a while, but we don't see him much online anymore, so people don't even know what that is. But, yeah, that's really a guy named Jim Minion. Yeah, I've been lucky enough. You know, Chris Lilly's a good old friend of mine. We've done a lot of fun stuff together, and Jim, and you know, a lot of the old guys we're lucky. We did a lot of fun stuff together, and those are my contemporaries. You know, we don't get around that much the barbecue circuit anymore, but those are certainly my friends.